Good morning, everyone. Please take your seats. Make yourselves comfortable on this lovely Mother's Day morning. If you are female, you should have a rose. You don't actually have to be a person's mother. But we're honoring the essence of motherhood and the essence of mothers. So if you are a woman with us this morning, we hope that you got your rose on the way in. I'm Reverend Mary Murray Shelton. I'm happy to welcome you all to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living this morning. Happy Mother's Day. I'm surprised to see that this side of the room is so much more abundant with people than that side of the room. Deborah's at the practitioner table over there. She doesn't bite on Sunday. So it's safe to sit over there. We just want to let you know that. Those of you that are online, happy Mother's Day. Welcome this morning. We're glad to have you with us. And this is our time to welcome each other. So now that I've got you quiet and seated and everything, stand up, walk around, introduce yourselves to each other, welcome those you haven't met or seen before, and welcome back any that are back with us today. And those of you that are at home, have a cup of coffee, give yourself a hug, and welcome yourself to this wonderful morning. We're glad you're with us. All right. So this morning, it's very interesting. We have Gary Lynn Floyd with us on video this morning. He's actually up in Santa Rosa with Karen Drucker physically this morning. So that's kind of fun. And I think Eddie Watkins Jr. is up there with him too this morning. But we have him here on video, so that's great. And he's going to start us off this morning. You know, Gary is the artist in residence at the Reno Center for Spiritual Living. And he writes music with a lot of our different New Thought musicians, sometimes on his own and sometimes in collaboration with them. He's got a website where you can find out all about him and his music, GaryLynnFloyd.com. And this song, I believe we've sung with him before. It's called Beloved Community. So I'm going to invite you to stand and join Gary and me right now. Words will be on the screen for you. And you sing at home, too. Oh, there we go.
Good morning, Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. Gary Lynn Floyd here. It's great to be back with you this morning. I hope you'll stand and sing this song with me. It's one of my new favorites called Beloved Community. Oh, and happy Mother's Day, too. Beloved community, we gather in unity. All are welcome here. All are blessed and a blessing to be. Beautiful, beloved community, where we discover divinity, recovering who we are in our beloved community. Sing all that again with me. Here we go. Beloved community, we gather in unity. All are welcome here. All are blessed and a blessing to be. Beloved, beloved community, where we discover divinity, recovering who we are in our beloved community. Second part goes like this. It doesn't matter where we've come from. It Doesn't matter what we've undone. All that matters is we're here now. Keep an open heart, let Spirit work it out. Here we go. Beloved community, sing it. We gather in unity. All are welcome here. All are blessed and a blessing to me. Sing it with me. Beloved community, where we discover divinity, recovering who we are in our beloved community. It doesn't matter where we've come from. It doesn't matter what we've undone. All that matters is we're here now. Keep an open heart, let Spirit work it out. Beloved community, we gather in unity. All are welcome here, all are blessed and a blessing to be. Beloved community, where we discover divinity, recovering who we are in our beloved community. Recovering who we are, recovering who we are in our beloved community. Sing that last line one more time. Recovering who we are in our beloved community.
Yes. Give yourselves a hand. Very nice. So now that we've raised our voices together and we've said hello to each other, we're going to turn our attention within, because we're now as one. So we're going to turn within to allow ourselves to be centered and grounded from the inside in preparation for our service. So I'm going to invite Galen Cooper up, who's our morning prayer practitioner, standing in for Leslie Janetti, who's got a sick day happening today, and she's going to do the opening for us.
Wow. Hello and welcome, beloved community. And I'm so happy that we are here together in unity. And just to say and speak word of truth, I'm just knowing and declaring that there is just one presence and one power. And that power is here now. And that power is the creator of everything we see and we don't see. And knowing that the creator has made us, I just take a deep breath and just acknowledge that here in divine unity today, Reverend Mary is downloaded with the perfect, exactly perfect thing that we need to hear, each and every one of us. And I also want to speak a greeting to all the people in online too. And I know that love is the only power. And as we all share in it, in gratitude and grace, I just say thank you to all here. And I give this to Mary to do her perfect job and let it go. Thank you for being here.
Since it's Mother's Day today, I decided to bring an old song out of my archives. This is a song I wrote for my mom. There's nothing I could do to keep my heart from you. It's got a mind all of its own, carrying me along back into your arms where I belong. Been everywhere a soul could roam, walking this world all on my own, doubting my direction, my destiny unknown. But my heart always knows which way is home. Like every time before, I wind up at your door, always surprised to see it's open wide for me, welcoming me home where I belong. Been everywhere a soul could roam, walking this world all on my own, doubting my direction, my destiny unknown. But my heart always knows which way is home. Haven't seen you in ages. Time has turned so many pages. I can't even believe it's been so long. Been everywhere a soul could roam, walking this world all on my own, doubting my direction, my destiny unknown. But my heart always knows which way's home. My heart always knows which way is home.
So sweet. So it's Mother's Day. How many of you have or had a mother? Good, then this is an appropriate day for us to celebrate together. Now, if you are someone's mother, and by that I mean birth mother, adoptive mother, foster mother, stepmother, acted as a mother, any ladies in any of those categories, grandmother, would you please stand? And I hope you're standing at home if you're somebody's mother. Now, if you are also a furry creature, feathered creature, or winged, finned creature, or slithering creature's mother, please stand. Any of you ladies who have those kind of critters? Okay, we want to acknowledge you as well because you're nurturing life as well. Okay, now, if you're somebody's grandmother, would you remain standing? So we want to honor the grandmas. Yay, grandmothers. And if you are a great-grandmother, would you remain standing? Woohoo! Yeah. These great grandmas. We have 2. Okay. 3. Yeah, anybody a great? I think so. No. Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, if you are a dad of any of those categories who has acted in the capacity of a mom, would you guys stand up for a second? If you've been mom and dad. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Thanks, guys, because we know that some dads take those roles on, and we appreciate that so much that you do. Woman said as she was attempting to prepare her 7-year-old daughter for a new baby who was going to be arriving in just a few months, her daughter kept repeatedly announcing, "No boys in our house." So after several months, the big day arrived. She says, "My daughter came into my hospital room and I told her the baby was a boy. And then I asked her, 'What are we going to do?' She placed both her hands on her hips and without missing a beat said, 'Well, I guess we'll just have to love the little thing.'" There is something that calls us forth into that experience. This month of May, our theme is freeing our hidden splendor. This is a recognition that within each of us, there is this bursting divine light. And often it's most hidden from us. Other people may be able to perceive it much more so than we do. We generally are so familiar with all of our flaws that we don't notice there is a splendor, and that's why it's kind of hidden. And also because we're not as aware of it, we are not as free with letting it out sometimes as we might, so others don't get the benefit of that. And what I want to remind us this morning is that love is the only power. All the rest, anything else that is any reflection or shadow of power, comes out of that. It is love that brought everything forth into being. I like to think of it as spirit containing so much creative juice and energy that it just had to overflow with love. And creation is the result of that, including we ourselves. So when we're talking about Mother's Day and when we're talking about love as the only power, I kept thinking of this song from Rabbi David somebody or other. It's a little chant that I came across, oh gosh, so many years ago, that goes, love is the only power, love is the only way, love, love, our love, watch our circle grow. And we would sing it over and over again like a chant. And for some reason, every time I thought about Mother's Day, this song would play in my head, which is why Love is the Only Power became the title for the talk this morning. When we think about God's love, or the love of a mother, or the love of a grandmother, what we're experiencing ideally, not necessarily literally in our own families, as I know everybody didn't have the perfect relationship with their mother, or she wasn't always a perfect role model, but in the ideal, that love of God as the nurturer, as the encourager, this is kind of the ideal of the mother's love that freely gives us encouragement, forgiveness, and is generous with that love and encouragement and forgiveness. And because of that, it both honors who we are and it allows us to be free to discover and accept ourselves, to really accept ourselves just as we are and just as we are not. When we have the ability to depend on someone, to have that kind of faith in us, to encourage us, to believe in us, to think that we're wonderful, then we gain a greater sense of confidence and strength and willingness in the world to take a risk, to be expressive, to allow ourselves to put ourselves out there and see what happens. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, talks about God being the essence of love, and that if we're not able to give forth love, we're missing our divine component of connection with that presence. He says, from selfish reasons alone, if for no loftier reason, we cannot afford to find fault, to hate, or even to hold in mind anything against any living soul. Because what we put out, what we focus on, what we emphasize, returns to us, sometimes multiplied over. And so when we're putting out that kind of negative vibration, we're attracting more of it to ourselves. That isn't the life that we want for ourselves. So we want to lift ourselves up to looking for the best in people, hoping for and experiencing that, offering the ones that we can, or the ones that we're connected with, that kind of encouragement. We have some photos of moms up on the altar this morning, and we know all your mom's photos and grandmother's photos are up here energetically. I'm thinking this morning about not only those of us present in the room, but also our sisters, our daughters, our cousins, our aunts and our grandmothers and great-grandmothers and great-aunts, our moms and our cousins and our grandchildren, granddaughters, all of the female energy that's ever been with one of us. We carry that with us. I recently was reminded that when a woman is born, she carries within her all the eggs she'll ever have in her life. So essentially, when our mothers were in our grandmother's womb, she already contained us and all of our eggs as well. So we literally were present with our own grandmothers and then have come forward into our lives here. So we bring a part of them with us into this place. So think about your female lineage. So you fellas, you also have mothers and grandmothers and daughters and sisters and so on. All of that energy of those women is with us as we are this morning. And also, think about all the women who have ever come through this space. I mean, 3 of them have been your ministers. But that energy, it collects in a place in consciousness. And so we honor mothers this morning and the essence of a mother because of what that ideal awakens in us and reminds us of. Everybody knows what an ideal mom is in their own mind and heart, whether you feel like you're one or your mom was one or not. But part of that essence also is recognizing that an ideal mom is a human being, which means that she has habits and quirks and flaws and things that are unique to her that we got the benefit of or learned from in one way or another. Meir Baba, the mystical Jewish rabbi, said, "True love is unconquerable and irresistible. It goes on gathering force until it transforms everyone it touches." That's a passion, a power of passion. And Alan Cohen reminds us in Rising in Love, whenever anyone asks for anything, they're asking for love. Everybody has the capacity to give love. Some people's capacity has been diminished by the way they grew up, or they've built heavy boundaries around it that make it more difficult for them to access or to feel or give out, but it's there. One of the things about us as created from that infinite presence of love is that we can't change our own nature. We don't have the ability to become something wholly different from what we were created to be. So the love that we were seeded with as we came into being is still with us, and it is unlimited. It's not like we need to generate it in order to give it out to other people. What we actually can do is just tap into the wellspring of it to bring it forth, because we're always drawing from it, and we shouldn't be stingy with ourselves either, because we are distributors of that love, all of us, not just women. Albert Schweitzer said, "Sometimes our light goes out, but is blown into flame by another human being, and each of us owes deepest thanks to those who have rekindled this light." Think about somebody in your life right now. It might have been a teacher, a relative, a friend, somebody in your life who encouraged you, who gave you a greater sense of yourself, who allowed you to feel like you knew something or could do something or had some value different than what you perceived or imagined about yourself. That gift had an impact on who you became, who you chose to be, who you believed yourself capable of being. And however long it's been since you saw that person or spoke to them, or even if they've passed on, you carry the seeds of that encouragement within you. I often tell people when I'm doing memorial services and funerals that we want to be able to remember the whole person, good and bad, positive and negative, what we loved about them, what drove us crazy, and also what we've received from that individual that is our own inheritance, their wisdom, if you know of some, their influence in some good way, because that inheritance is given to us so that at the appropriate moment we can pass it on. And we are always called upon to pass that on at some point. I know there are things that I learned from my mom that I did not appreciate at the time that I have passed on to my son, because as I became an adult and as I became a mother, I began to recognize that she knew some stuff and that I was the benefit of some of that stuff that she knew, even though I didn't appreciate it. Sorry, Mom. Even though I didn't appreciate it at the time. So passing it on, I see some of that in my son now. He didn't necessarily get all that from her. She was in his life till he was 11, but it has been something that whatever I carried forward too, I also gave forward to him. Abraham Lincoln said, "I remember my mother's prayers, and they have always followed me. They have clung to me all my life." That's an amazing thing to say. So we're actually created from love and made of love at the same time. So the question becomes, well, what do we think love is? How do we imagine it? I have recently been involved in a course that prepares people to do a couple's preparation for marriage in a special sort of way. And it was information that was mostly familiar to me, but some of it was new. And one of the things that I really had to think about was the idea that the purpose of a marriage is not to make us happy. We make our marriage happy by what we bring to it. But it is a place where we grow, where we share, where we discover. It's not meant to be happily ever after. You know, the prince and princess, after their big hoopla wedding, they still have to get the kitchen clean. They still have to raise the kids. They still have to figure out what to do with the horses in the lawn. It's not like it all ends at the wedding ceremony, right? And I think sometimes that we mistake the ceremony for the seal of happily ever after. And that is part of what makes people unhappy in the long run, is that they thought they had it down, they had it in place, it was now secured, everything was going to be fine. Well, it's not only true of marriage, it's also true when we have kids. I mean, I was really aware. Mom always said that the person who had no kids was always the one who was an expert on how you should raise them. And she said that because people made comments. She would hear people make comments about somebody's kids, or maybe about me, because I was kind of a loudmouth kid, always talking, always being shushed. That we think that we're going to be, or I thought I would be when I was pregnant. I had learned from all these mistakes now that I was going to do really well. I was going to do differently with my child. What you don't know is that your child is your teacher. They come to rub up against you in all those places where you still haven't quite smoothed out and bring the friction to your attention. And it is so, annoying, disappointing, confusing, scary, challenging, you name it. And that's what we step into as parents. I can remember saying to a friend of mine that it was my opinion, I just pulled it out of nowhere, that a woman doesn't go into labor until the child gives the mother's body a signal that it's ready. That was my idea. I think that actually is true, somebody told me. But I mentioned that to a friend who was a father of 2 children, and he said to me, "Oh yeah, Mary, that's the first thing the child teaches the parents. You are not in control." And so we experience that sometimes as parents, and then after all the years of nurturing and care and concern and attention, we discover that we have to let them go. We know they're not ready to be let go and on the loose in the world on their own, but we have to let them go. And that is a part of our great growth, taking on this impossible, confusing journey and then letting it go to that person. And you think about your parents did that for you. I wonder if they worried about you the way we worry about our own kids. And you can get that way not just about children. You can get that way about pets. You can get that way about plants. You can get that way about anything that's alive, that you're trying to figure out how to take care of it and you're mystified because it isn't working. Yes? Doesn't matter if it's an azalea or a chrysanthemum, a child or a goldfish. We want to know that whatever it is that's in our care is healthy and thriving and doing well, and sometimes that's confusing. Sometimes we can't figure it out. James Faust said that the influence of a mother in the lives of her children is beyond calculation. Now I want to ask you, all of you, can you hear your mother's voice in your head if you think about it? Now some of you are in the room with your mothers, so, don't let on if this is a problem, but, I can hear my mother. I can hear the tone of voice. I can hear what she would laugh at, yeah? We're made from this love, and love is not this emotion that wells up inside of us and feels overwhelmingly warm, always. Feels affectionate. Sometimes love is helping somebody with their homework even when you don't understand it. Sometimes love is encouraging someone when they did something they feel really bad about that you would like to throttle them for, but that won't help. Sometimes love is listening to something that is very boring, or laughing at a joke that a 5-year-old tells you that they've got all wrong and it's not remotely funny, or you don't even understand what it was supposed to be. And laughing at the joke and giving them your attention. Sometimes it's getting down on the floor and playing with a little kid, even though you'd much rather sit and have a cup of coffee. Love is listening to your spouse when you're in conflict. Love is more than just a fuzzy feeling or a romantic, lustful feeling. It has to be. It is the impetus for everything that's alive. That livingness that we see in the spring is a bursting forth of loving expression that can't be held back. It can't be withheld from anybody. There is not a flowering plant in the world that makes a decision that you don't deserve flowers and therefore I'm not flowering for you. It doesn't happen. It's freely given. Why? Because it's their nature to bloom. And it is ours as well.
Mary, may I add something to that?
Yeah.
Well, I just think about the kids that have been adopted.
Yeah.
And just the fact that that was an incredible gift of love that those mothers gave to
Yeah.
their children to be put up for adoption.
Yeah.
Just because they were in a circumstance, obviously, that they couldn't take care of them.
Yeah.
So that's another.
It's every kind of mothering, every kind of mothering. Love is our core nature, all of us. Love itself has the ability to outlast circumstances and moods and misunderstandings and offenses and hurt feelings. If you're a parent, hurt feelings are a good thing not to project onto your kids, because they need something different from us. If we've hurt their feelings, we have a different responsibility to them. If they hurt our feelings, that's a different thing. Because kids have to separate. And sometimes we find this even with our adult sons and daughters. They have to separate from us. So if our feelings are hurt by them, maybe we share it, maybe we don't, depending on the surrounding context of what's going on. Johann Christoph Arnold wrote, "I think motherhood is the noblest task of all, because you cannot do it at your convenience or tailor it to suit your preferences. You have to be ready to give up everything when you take on this task: your time, restful nights, your hobbies, your pursuit of physical fitness, any beauty you may have had, and all the private little pleasures you might have counted as a right, from late dinners and long soaks in the tub to weekend excursions and cycling trips. I'm not saying you can't have any of these things, but you have to be ready to let them go, to let them all go, if you're going to have children, and put them first." This is one of the things that we don't necessarily realize the degree to which that will be true when we haven't yet had kids. How many of you have kids, actually children, people, adults or kids, grandkids, kids, okay? And now let me ask you this, moms and dads. Did you think you were ready before they were born? And were you ready before they were born? Did you discover a sense of readiness or not? People sometimes tell me they're worried about having a baby. You know, I don't know what to do with the baby. I don't even know how to diaper a baby. What am I going to do? I said, you know what? Neither does the baby. The baby has no opinion of whether you've diapered them properly or not. They're not going to judge you for it. They're not going to scold you for it. They're not going to have bad feelings because you didn't do it well. And you know what? You're going to learn how to do it like an expert because you're going to have to do it 7,000 times a day. You'll be great at it. You don't have to be great at it yet. They don't know. You get to learn on them. I can remember Terry McBride once saying his oldest daughter was questioning why the younger daughter got to do all the things that she, the older daughter, hadn't been allowed to do. And Terry said to her, well, you know, I learned a lot as a dad between you and her. I had a really good teacher. She goes, oh yeah, who was that? He said, you. Now, I'm sure that didn't make her feel any better about the fact that her younger sister was getting to do stuff she didn't get to do. But it was his own acknowledgement that when he started, he didn't know anything. But over time and experience with his own child, something new happened. When we're nurturing anything in our lives and we're first taking that on, no matter what we think, we don't really know how to do it. It doesn't matter if you've been an artist for 40 years. When you take on a new project, it's a new project. It may be in the vein of something you've done before, but you don't know yet what this one is, what it wants to be, what it's calling forth from you. You won't know that until you get into the middle of it and discover that you have to create some new ideas for yourself in order to bring it forth. Well, that's true with everything that we love and nurture. All of that is our children. Somebody asked me a few weeks ago if we believe that Jesus is the Son of God. I said yes, but we also believe we're all the children of God. In fact, we believe all of creation is the Son of God. And he said, okay, good. So the recognition that everything that is created is our child, is something we have brought into life, into expression. They're all our children, our plants, the things we cook, the artistic creations we make, the relationships and friendships we connect with. All those things that we grow, those are our children. And we can't ignore them. We can nurture them. We can criticize them. We can abandon them. We can bond with them. But whatever we do, they're still ours. They still have our energy in them, our mark on them. We, in a sense, are part of that, and they are part of us. Because love is really the essence and the superpower that we're born with. And that is our one thing that every single one of us has to give and to share. The story about a little boy who decided that he wanted to go out and meet God. And so he figured it was a long trip to where God lived. And so he packed his suitcase with Twinkies and a 6-pack of root beer, and he set out on his journey. And when he'd gone maybe 3 blocks, he met an elderly man sitting in the park just feeding the birds. And so the boy sat down next to him, and he opened up his suitcase, and he was about to take a drink of root beer when he thought the man might be hungry, and so he offered him a Twinkie. And the man gratefully accepted it and smiled at the boy. And the smile was so pleasant, the little boy wanted to see it again. So he offered him a root beer. And again, the man smiled, and the boy was delighted. So they sat there all afternoon in the sunshine, listening to the birds, feeding the birds, eating Twinkies, and drinking root beer and smiling, and they never said a word. Then, as it got later, near dinner time, the little boy realized how tired he was, and so he got up to leave, but before he'd gone more than a few steps, he turned around and ran back to the man and gave him a big hug. And the man gave him the most beautiful big smile he'd ever seen. Well, when the little boy got home, he opened the door to his house, and his mother was delighted to see this joyful contentment on her little boy's face. And so she asked, "What did you do today that made you so happy?" And the little boy replied, "I had lunch with God." And before his mother could say anything more, he said, "God has the most beautiful smile I have ever seen." Well, meanwhile, the elderly fellow, who was also radiant with the experience of the afternoon, returned to the home he shared with his own son. And his son was kind of amazed by this look of peacefulness that his dad had. And he said, "Dad, what happened to you today to make you so content?" And his father said, "I ate Twinkies in the park with God. And you know, he's much younger than I thought he would be." The essence of love, these two souls who had never met each other before, expected and brought to this encounter, this element, this superpower of love. We often see it in little children, that they are so welcoming of other people that they give this huge love freely to everybody that they meet. Some creatures are like this. You'll meet dogs that people say, you know, he's not much of a watchdog. He will come over to a stranger and throw himself on his back to be petted and cuddled and snuggle up. Cats are more discerning. They have staff, not owners. So they're not as all loving. But when they choose to give their love to somebody, it's overwhelming, the purring and the rubbing and the snuggling and all that soft, furry stuff. We are invited into a world where love is the prevalent way. It's in all of creation. Spend a half an hour on Animal Planet and watch how animals are with their offspring. And it isn't just animals that are in the ape family that do that. We see giraffes kissing their babies on the head. We see mother bears helping their little ones get up. We see lizards with their babies riding on their backs. I mean, everything relates to its own with that kind of welcoming, that kind of love. So today, if we consider that love is our superpower and love is really the essence of all power, the power of love is liberating. And we're here on earth basically to be distributors of love, And we could be a little bit more generous with it probably, because it's not in short supply. We're the only ones that have a kind of a limitation on it. You know, Alan Cohen said once, "I had held back," this is not a verbatim, but he said something like, "I had determined who I could love and who I couldn't love based on who loved me. I had decided that this little group of people were worthy of my love and attention and filtered out everybody else." You know, Hugh Prather, the poet, said once, or no, maybe it was Stephen Levine, said, "It's hard to be loving all the time to everyone, but it's harder not to be loving." And I wondered what he meant by that for a while. It was like, it seems to me it takes a certain amount of effort to love some people. Maybe me, some days. And then I realized that what Stephen Levine was really saying was that when we withhold love, it does not feel good inside of us. It's not good for us. That goes back to Ernest Holmes' quote at the beginning. Love is meant to be shared. We can't really afford to withhold it because it ends up hurting us. But when we are free with that, we lift ourselves into a level of happiness and contentment by letting go and forgiving. So in order for us to live from that superpower, one of the things that we need to be engaged in is this kind of releasing of grievances, letting it go. Just letting it go. Recognizing that the grievance is this tiny part of ourselves that takes umbrage at something, that gets hurt, that gets grumpy, that gets defensive or attacks or whatever it is, because we couldn't in the moment let go of that one thing, we were hanging on to it because, why? Because the other person, their values are different than ours? Because they have a different opinion that we really oppose? Because they say mean things that hurt our feelings? Well, if we have hurt feelings, you know, Eleanor Roosevelt said, nobody can make you feel bad without your permission. So if we have hurt feelings, it's not them who hurt us. We hurt ourselves as a reaction to what they said. But we don't have to. It was a huge revelation to me in my life, and I still have to remind myself of this, that I am not required to feel bad because someone else would like me to, or thinks I deserve to. I don't have to. I get to choose how I'm going to feel about something. I can let it go. I don't have to let it ruin my day. I don't have to obsess over it. I don't necessarily have to try and fix it. Although if I self-reflect and recognize that I've been short-sighted or neglectful or unkind, that perhaps I could make amends or apologize. But I don't have to go around feeling bad. Sometimes we take on this feeling bad kind of attitude to prevent the other person from getting mad. I mean, if we already feel terrible, why would they want to pile on? So they might actually end up comforting us because we've decided to feel so bad about it. But it's manipulative. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever done that? Ever had anybody do that around you? No, we recognize it, right? But we don't have to take that on. So in this place this morning, we can consider that Mother's Day is really a day that is meant to be an expression of loving encouragement and forgiveness and faith and belief in ourselves, because we have to start with us. We don't have anything to give our kids or our friends or our neighbors or our plants or our pets if we don't have that, if we're not allowing that. So let's take a moment now to turn within and let ourselves anchor love for ourselves in place right now. In turning within, I bring my attention to the presence, the mystery, as love, as a vibration so powerful throughout all of the universe and all that is not in form, that there is nothing real but this presence, this resonance of love. And everything that's in form or has ever been in form or comes into form is that. It's true of me as well. It's true of everyone in this place or who has ever been in this place. Claiming this love now, I awaken within myself a love that is vast and deep. I call this forth and speak this word for everyone here, for everyone online with us, that this love is the truth of who we are. Deep, resonant, infinite. Love that is greater than any mistake we've ever made, any negative opinion we've ever had of ourselves, great or small. This love is the essence of my life, of our lives. And so we call forth love as our primary essence of being, as our primary way in the world, as our open-heartedness toward acceptance of good, of love, and of sending forth that love in abundance. We, in this very moment, consciously now, send that love forth. We send it to Gaza. We send it to Ukraine. We send it to Washington. We send it to the capitals everywhere in the world, to the leaders, to the clergy everywhere in the world, to the religious leaders, to the leaders in all communities, all people of influence. We send this love to them to recognize the truth of who they are underneath all the appearances, and to invite that deep presence of love to seep through into our understanding, our activities, and our thoughts about one another, anchoring back into the deep well of source, which is always love. We are rooted and grounded in the presence of this love now, and we're grateful for it. Breathe it in and let it go. And again, breathe it in and let it go. We let this prayer go and let it be now. And together we say, and so it is. Please stand and join me in the morning affirmation. As we say this in one voice, God has no opposites. God is omnipresent love, so love is the only power. I am realizing that I live immersed in love, so I choose to be a living embodiment of love. And so it is. You may be seated. I want to invite the ushers now to come forward as we move into our sacred giving time. And this is a time when what I ask you to give, and give generously, is your love. So as the basket comes by, whether you are making a contribution, a financial contribution today or not, take the basket and hold it just for a moment and be conscious of infusing it with love. This offering is going to go into all the work that we do, and it's going to go out into the world. We want to send it out with love. Now, if you're online or you want to text a donation this morning, you can do that with the number on the screen. Just text the dollar amount, and they'll take care of the rest and lead you through it. For all those who are physically giving something this morning, hold it near your heart. If you are here with us for the first time this morning, your presence here with us is your gift. So all of us are that gift of love. So let's all put our hands to our hearts, and we say this giving affirmation together to bless all of the offering that's being given right now. This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is. Go ahead.
As time has unfolded me, it has revealed to me life's nothing less than sublime. With every thought I make, every last breath I take, may I be gracious and kind. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of mine. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Kindness wash over me, make me a symphony, play every note you can find. Make me reverberate, gently deactivate, slowly flow out of my mind. Find me a melody, dance and let my anthem be. Love cover me, light any darkness. Love cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love cover me, love cover me, love cover me. I will not be shaken, I will not be moved. Love cover me, may my heart awaken, tenderness be proved. Love cover me, love cover me. All right, this is your part. It's only one word, goes like this. Love, 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 love. Sing that one word with me. Love, 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 love. It's beautiful. We'll come back to that. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of mine. Love cover me, light any darkness. Love cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love cover me, love cover me. Sing it one more time with me. Fill up the room with it. Love, 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 love. Send it across the whole nation. Love, 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 love. Send it across the whole world, all the way. Love, 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 love. And then out into the universe. Love, 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 love. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Love cover me. Love cover me. Sing that with me. Love cover me. Love cover me. Love cover me. Love cover me. I love you.
So all of us, on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, accept this offering, knowing that it vibrates with the power of love, that it carries this love out into the world in a transformative way that increases forgiveness and peace. And so it is. Thanks, Lynn. So if you're here for the first time this morning, at this table in the back where Galen is standing, we have a lot of handouts you're welcome to take, little magazines that you're welcome to take, and also welcome packets. So take one of those, take the blue card out of it, fill the blue card out and give it to Galen. She's going to give you a little book as our thank you for being here this morning, and also as our invitation to you to come back and be with us in the future. We hope that we'll get to know you and that you'll become a regular part of our congregation here. By the way, if you're online with us this morning and this is your first Sunday joining us, happy Mother's Day. And if you send an email to administrator@ggcsl.org, we'll send you one of these little books as a thank you for joining us online this morning. Also, I want to thank everyone who went out of their way to create a wonderful morning for us by setting everything up and making it so beautiful. I want to thank the Frost family for providing this altar space to hold the energy of all our moms and grandmothers and everybody this morning. Randy and Kieran back there, thank you. And I want to thank Galen for stepping in for Leslie this morning, and also for everybody that's been setting up snacks. We're just grateful for all of that as well. Now, I have a workshop coming up. It's going to be June 9th. I said originally the 2nd, but no, that's wrong. It's going to be June 9th from 1 to 3 at our office in San Rafael. And it is about crossing a sacred threshold. Now, somebody asked me if this was about preparation for death. It could be, but that's not what I set it up to be. What I set it up to be is anytime we're facing a change in our lives, anytime we're facing something coming forward, we're getting ready to step over a threshold into something unfamiliar. We're the little bird stepping off the limb for the first time. We're the ship that's off course trying to find its way back to where it's supposed to be going. So if you are experiencing, even if you can't name quite what it is, it might be internal, some kind of a change, that's a sacred threshold. So we're doing this workshop to learn what different kinds of thresholds are like and help us to identify maybe which one we're in the midst of, and then how do we go forward from there? There is locked in our consciousness some wisdom about how to go forward from there. So we're going to peer in there and see what comes up. So I invite you to sign up back at the back table. It's a 2-hour workshop. It's $20, and it will be at the Learning Center. Also, Lori Greer and Leslie Giannetti are offering the Journey of the Soul. This is a class that I taught a year or so ago. They are offering it again. It's a wonderful class. It was written by one of our contemporary Science of Mind ministers, Patrick Harbula, and the book for it, it's not Journey of the Soul, it's something of the soul. Magic of the Soul, yes, that's it. He wrote the book and the curriculum for it, and he's going to be there, I think, on class 4. The class is on Zoom, so everybody can take it from wherever you are. It's 6 Tuesday, or maybe it's 8 Tuesday evenings, actually. I'm not sure that's correct. From 6 to 8:30 on Zoom. So you can register for that right on our website, and you can do it for my workshop too. And you can sign up at the back table as well. So that'll be coming up middle of June. And lastly, we've been invited by the International Association of Sufism to an event called Songs of the Soul, which is a poetry and sacred music festival that they're doing at Westminster Presbyterian on June 8th, and it's all day. It's from 10 in the morning until 5 in the evening. It's $70 if you buy your ticket before the 25th of May, or $90 if you want to get lunch as well with part of your ticket. Ticket price goes up after May 25th to $90 without lunch. So if you want to go, I encourage you to get your ticket and enjoy this wonderful event. Lastly, our practitioner table is here with the practitioner prayer box on it, ready to receive your prayer requests. Those will be prayed over for this week fully. And also, I invite you to take advantage of getting a prayer from Deborah Paul this morning. She is there at the practitioner table ready to serve. And for each one of you, if you go and she's with someone back here in a private space, just wait there. She'll come back and take you as soon as she's finished with the person before you. Also remember that we have some wonderful goodies coming out, and we look forward to sharing coffee with you after the service. So now, practitioners, would you surround the room? We're going to do a special Chamber of Prayer blessing for love and forgiveness this morning. Everybody will do it in their own way. So your job is just to allow forgiveness and love to wash over you. If there's anybody in your life you need to forgive, surrender that person, that issue, to the prayer, to the divine. If you need to forgive yourself, especially do that. So let's begin. And so it is. And so it is. Please stand now and join me in the closing blessing and the closing song with Gary Lynn Floyd. So we say together, I now walk, so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for spirit and all people and I are one eternally. And so it is. This is funny, actually, because he's wrong in 2 counts.
It's been great being back with you this morning in San Francisco.
No,
While I'm in San Jose.
no, he's in
I
Santa
think I
Rosa.
may have done this song for you last time. It just seems like I need to sing it again for myself, for you, for the world at large. We all need a little bit of this. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Sing that again with me. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, where there is hatred, I will love. And where there is sadness, I will bring joy. And where there is darkness, I will shine. I am an instrument of peace. Then make it your prayer. Make me an instrument of peace. From the top, here we go. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, where there is hatred, I will love. Where there is sadness, where there is sadness, I will bring joy. Where there is darkness, where there is darkness, I will shine. Claim it for yourself. I am an instrument of peace. Make it your prayer. Make me an instrument of peace. I am an instrument of peace. Then make me an instrument of peace. Make that your prayer. Sing it again with me. Make me an instrument of peace. Last time. Make me an instrument of peace. I love you. Happy Mother's Day.